Well, I'm going to be very brief. Right, I don't speak loudly enough. I'm overwhelmed. I really am. Thank you all for coming. I mean, there are people here from, Erna's here from Arizona. My daughter's here from Boston. My son just off a plane from Boulder, Colorado. And Paul Canchester is here from Chicago. I mean, it's quite amazing. Plus all the rest of you who have all been a very important part of my life. I also want to thank Christine Kelly-Williams, who did a lot of work for this, I'm sure. She's the administrative assistant for the social science department. When we first came here, I told Lori not to get too comfortable because we were only going to be here for 2 years. Actually, it was because of Peter Amman that we came. But in spite of that, I thought 2 years and out. I mean, there were 3 buildings on the campus. I had a very large office, which I shared with sociologists, and that was a kind of turning point. This sociologist had 2 students, male students, doing an independent study, this is 1972, on male frontal nudity in Playboy. So you had this stack of magazines. I would sit with my back to the students who were reading all these magazines. I mean, there wasn't a lot to do with male frontal nudity in Playboy in 1972. But I thought, you know what, could be bad. Then the colleagues got better. I remember walking down the hallway, seeing Bernie Klein, Fran Cousins, Don Anderson, Don Proctor, Peter Amman, Sidney Warshawski, getting jokes of various sorts from all of them. From a Yiddish joke from Sidney Warshawski, whom they used to confuse with me. He was the taller one. Because our names were, Sidney's wife's name is Lorraine, is my wife's name. So there was that confusion. Students got better. Then we moved. And we made more friends. They tended to fall through the roof and onto desks when people were grading papers. Those were the raccoons. We had the honors lounge, which was staked out by a very large black rat. The office was sinking in mud. People would come into class with their overcoats and gloves on. I remember I had a student who was 80 years old once, and people would sit around him so he wouldn't freeze. I would try to take care of him. Through it all, with dedicated support from the chancellor, especially my friend Dan Little, faculty like Joe Lund. You notice I put those 2 names in the same sentence with some affection. You won't hear that very often. Then Jerry Moran, Socrates, aka Michael Rosano. Suzanne Lars, who's been here from the beginning, who was one of the first to join the honors program. My darling Elaine Clark. Sidney Warshawski. Cam and me. I want to leave Cam out. Don Ward, Sherry Pearson. I mean, the faculty just made it a joy to teach in the honors program. And composition faculty and the real director of the honors program, who mediated, charmed, sometimes mothered, advised, protected, fought for, defended those of us who tried to make the honors program the best we could. If the faculty ideal here is the teacher-scholar, the embodiment of the staff ideal who lives with what can I do for you is Michelle Rushman. must tell you, along with my wife Lori, the two of them have figuratively and literally saved my life. Johann Sebastian Bach. I'm not going to play the CD. So relax. It's not going to be that long. Accomplished one of the greatest feats of mind over matter in the world. More than that, Bach seemed to believe that fuller was better than emptier, that more was better than less, dialogue was preferable to monologue. And so he wrote pieces that were impossible to play for a single violin or a single cello, yet best played, according to Nathan Milstein, the great violinist, when the violinist hears the other second instrument, hears it. I've watched my son and daughter play these pieces for years, and as I hear the other violins, they remain a mystery to me. It always makes me feel somehow fuller. I hope we can feel that way about our lives and our thinking. Fuller. I again want to thank everybody who showed up today. You've made my life a happy and loving one, a full one. I love this place. You all made it so much fun to come to work. And while I think we're going to be spending more time in Boston, we're staying in Michigan. And I may stop back at the Honors Lounge if people start to play poker again. Thank you very much.